Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we have Michelangelo. This updates campaign ship, and one that is surprising to me. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be the worst ship ever. And it's not incredible. It is not a world beater, but I will say pretty much every single time I take it out, I am having fun. And if you know anything about me, if I'm having fun, I enjoy the ship. So, with that all said, let's go ahead and talk about the Michelangelo because it is a weird and quirky ship as we get bullied by this aircraft carrier here. You'll see we can go ahead and just talk about its AA performance. It only has an AA ring out to 4 kilometers. It does about, I think, like 200 damage at 4 kilometers, which is decent, but them planes got to be close in order for you to avoid stuff. And, well, it's not exactly the greatest AA, but that's not the big concern with Michelangelo. That's not the crazy thing. What Michelangelo is a secondary focused cruiser, and it's secondary focused because pretty much it's forced to be based on the position of its main guns. You may notice that we only have 2 main guns, and they are in the center of the ship. And they are surrounded by superstructure on both sides. What that means is if you want to use those main guns, you're going to have to expose yourself and expose yourself to a pretty significant degree. Pretty much to use either of the guns, you will have to open yourself at an angle that can easily mean you will be penned by any ship that is looking to shoot some rounds at you. So you do have to be pretty strategic as to when to use, when to open up and when to close, or when to push and things like that. So it's a bit of a weird ship. Now, we do have 2 games in this ship to show off. The first one here, we're running Paolo di Revel. And that's because I think a Battleship Commander is going to be the best to use on Michelangelo. Paolo di Revel does a very good job where I didn't really modify my usual battleship build. I just used my normal battleship build and it worked. Inspirations are Von Hipper and Haruna. If you don't have Haruna, hopefully you followed my guide to be able to purchase Henrique Fernandez for free, because if you have him, those are 2 great free-to-play commanders. You will notice now that our secondaries are going off, and that is the piece de resistance of this ship. Our secondaries are incredibly long ranged, 10.3 kilometers when we have a 10.6 kilometer detectability, which means things get pretty spicy. And you'll see we basically have 2 sets of secondaries. We have a 10 2-barreled 90 millimeter guns, which are decent, and then we have 3 4-barreled 152s. And those 152s are looking over in the traditional super firing positions that you would expect off of any normal ship in this game. So they very much become your primary way of dealing damage front on, as you can see us doing damage to the Carl Johan here. Now, we had already used our enhanced secondary battery, and you can see us attempting to line up our torpedoes as well as using our primary guns. Now, we don't do much there, and that's mainly up to me because I'm being an idiot not using SAP. Of course, Carl Johan has an incredibly robust armor belt, and as a result, the SAP won't pen, but the SAP coming out of the 320 millimeter guns out of our primary will easily pen like 32 millimeters of armor. So you can do some pretty disgusting things with it, including pen nose in battleships, and even like my first salvo out of this thing was for 14,000 on a Georgia. It was absolutely incredible. If you want to watch it, you can go ahead and watch our live stream. We kind of showed it off in a game there, but we will finish off this Carl Johan over here and then start diving into some other facts and figures. So, as far as our build goes on this vessel, we are running the secondary battery mod because range. Then we're running the rudder shift because, well, we need to be able to move the sides of our ship quickly to get those turrets either in cover or out of cover allowing us to fire them when needed. Then we are running concealment mod, and then I'm actually running the secondary battery mod for, once again, just the secondaries are the primary way to do damage on this ship. And you're going to see in this upcoming bit over here of when we expose ourselves, we end up taking damage. Now, part of that is also up to our armor scheme. We have a 25 millimeter bow, so anything with a 16-inch gun will overpen our bow. Well, they'll get a full pen, which I guess is okay, because we do have decent heals. And then our side plating is only like 100 millimeters thick. So in order to get something to hit in there, it does become a little difficult. And if you over angle, your citadel becomes exposed, and you have a massive citadel in this ship. You can be very easily dev struck. While this is a brawler, it sometimes very much will let you down. As you can see us just taking full pens from this Vanguard here. We're going to go ahead and return the favor with the SAP as our secondaries are now starting to engage, which is exactly what we want to do. Like I said earlier, it's having the range of your secondaries meet the range of your concealment makes this ship just a lot of fun. And it's one of the main reasons I am enjoying it so much. Let's go ahead and talk about those guns in the middle. They're two 4-railed 320 millimeter guns. You do have the option of running HE and AP in them. I didn't do that just because SAP for the win, SAP for the lulls. You get about a 2-second better reload right now with base on reload on those guns. It's going to be 24 seconds with a range of 15.4 kilometers. AP damage, you're looking at 9,700. SAP, 9,500. And you can get some pretty decent slaps with them. Let's go ahead and talk about the equipment as well, because the equipment is weird and it's a bit disappointing, but I think they made some clever compromises with how you have to play this vessel. So, of course, we have the damage control party in the first slot. You know we're going to get it. Then we get the option for the heal, which is what I would recommend you run, or you could run the sonar. The heal, you're going to heal 436 health per second for a total of 12,208 health per heal, which is pretty good. Now with our build, because we have Master Mechanic, we get 4 of those heals, so we can heal back 48,000 health. So our base health is 66,100 in this ship. Add another 48,000 on top of that. You're in grosser Kernfurst territory as far as your damage pool, which is very good because as you saw right there, that Vanguard waited for us to open up just a little and we took massive hits. Now, you could take the heal or you could take the sonar in that second slot. The sonar is pretty decent, 4.7 kilometer range on that sonar, and that'll be very useful with the smoke that you also get. Now, the smoke is the newly buffed Italian smoke, 40-second duration, which is what people have been asking for a long time in this game. So I'm very happy to see Wargaming finally deliver on the longer duration smoke for the Italian ships. And then our final consumable is going to be that enhanced secondary targeting, which I hope you can see we are putting to good use here. As we're going to flip over to AP to try to show off what the AP can do. Italian AP, as always, can slap when it connects. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do on this Seattle right here. Max speed of the vessel is fairly low. 33.5 knots. Not exactly something that's totally impressive. And it's definitely one of the weaker points about this ship is you may win your side, and this is a common issue with this ship is if you're on one of the flanks, it's a very good position for you as far as maneuverability, possibility of islands, cover, that sort of stuff. But if you then win that side, what then happens is a struggle to then make yourself relevant again in the game because your top speed is just so slow. So that was our game in Paolo di Revel, and I guess we should talk about his build. We're running not one for the nuisance, Porcupine, Firefighter, Master Mechanic, and then his legendary is Fight Fire with Fire. The next game is running something a little different. Here, we are running Azur Lane Zara. Now, if you recall, Azur Lane Zara is all about buffing the SAP. Michelangelo, full SAP. Figured we'd give it a go. Also, she's a cruiser commander, and this game kind of highlights the issues with using Azur Lane Zara. Our inspirations, we are still running Hipper and Haruna just to try to get that secondaries, because once again, the secondaries are the focus here. It does bring down our secondary range to like 9.3 kilometers, and you'll see us struggle to use the secondaries when we really want to in this game. So just understand all of that as we sort of enter into this game. But I wanted to show off a game with the cruiser commander just so you can kind of see the difference, and the reason why I'm not exactly in love with Michelangelo with a cruiser commander. As far as what else we're running with Zara, we are running Beyond Range, her unique skill in Audris and Trepida, which gives us an 8% damage boost if we fire our guns within 5 seconds of reloading, and this will be an issue. We'll talk about it. Then Fortified, Fixated, and Fully Packed. So overall, a decent outlook of abilities and skills. It's just something that I don't 100% love because I feel like it's all about the secondaries, and we're compromising the secondaries. Anyways, this Yugamo pops up here, and at this point, we just kind of need to commit to getting into this island because we know torpedoes are definitely on our way, as he gets absolutely melted by a combination of SAP and, well, just totally SAP, as he goes down in a relative short amount of time. And, well, we did such a good time, it's time to go on shore leave. Men ashore, there we go. Look at that, perfect game, the end. No, I'm just messing with you. So we take him out, and now we're kind of wedging ourselves into a tick here. And this is a great spot for Michelangelo. We're going to have ability to fire on either side. We kind of dig ourselves into a tick. You saw in the last game, we kind of readied those torpedoes, and we did fire them, but we haven't really talked about them. So those torpedoes are really good. They do 20,000 damage, 20,433. They have an 8-kilometer range, and they go 72 knots. So they are very deadly. They are much better than the usual Italian torpedoes, and they are very much designed for the brawling. And Michelangelo also has some excellent angles at which she can fire. So overall, Michelangelo is a designed brawler. You just have to know when to push. And you kind of have to keep yourself apprised of the situations here. As you can see, we're going to start working our way on this Baltimore and this Atlantico as they start to push out here. Admittedly, we probably should have switched over to the AP, but we'll start getting some decent hits here and there. But we are still getting the shatters with the SAP, which can be disappointing. And the AP probably would have been the better hit, but at this point, I'm like, okay, well, my Baltimore probably, I'm not going to call it the more dangerous ship, but it's cruiser. It's going to have higher DPM. Also, our SAP should be able to do some pretty decent damage to it. So we're going to go ahead and try to concentrate him on that. More importantly, though, we're going to go ahead and realign, because we can see there's this enemy battleship that's relatively close to us. I'm kind of tempted to see if he wants to push out. If he does push out, we'll kind of start using our secondaries on him, and that's our goal. But these two are pushing out so perpendicular that we can kind of maintain this crossfire on them, and that's exactly what we can do. And, you know, credit where credit's due. We're having pretty decent success, and one of the reasons we're having success is we do have that Beyond Range, which is giving us 10% extra range. But the bigger issue with Michelangelo is these guns and how slow they are. Because if you remember, our main goal with Azur Lane Zara is to fire the guns within 5 seconds of reloading. These guns are very slow. Additionally, you kind of have to choose your moment in order to use these guns, and you want to make sure you have the right moment to actually use them, or you may find yourself taking a ton of damage. So, that's the sort of dual sides of Michelangelo and the guns, especially when running a cruiser commander in like the paid for commander, which is why not a big fan overall. Last thing I guess we should probably talk about is the concealment on it. Like I said, 10.6, 7.4 when firing at smoke. So you can see we're maintaining our concealment while firing at this Atlantico as we begin to chip away with our secondary right here, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And maybe we can line up the double strike here. As you see, I'm like, okay, our secondaries will finish off this one guy. We'll use our primaries to finish off the Baltimore here. Here we go. Set up the double strike. And one. No secondaries. Oh, okay. Well, we tried. Anyways, Belfast pops up over here. We've done a good job now clearing that flank. And right there is kind of what Michelangelo does best, right? We weren't concentrated by the enemy. We're playing in a medium backline when they push into us. We're finding a good angle to attack from. And when we do that, we are finding ourselves with huge amounts of success because the SAP or AP can be incredibly, incredibly punishing. But what we kind of have to take into account is also what else is out there. As Massachusetts here has taken interest in us, we'll go ahead and fire those SAP rounds, and we can see what sort of damage we can chunk out of them. 4K chunk, pretty decent. And guys, that's pretty much most of what I have to say about the Michelangelo. Overall, I think it's one of my favorite ships that has come out for a campaign ship this year, just because I find it fun. I find the gameplay very engaging, but I don't think it's a good ship. It will not change games. You will be rolling for the perfect game in it, and that's okay. Schroeder was similar, and I think this is a better Schroeder. So if you enjoyed Schroeder, I think you'll enjoy this ship here as we try to make this turn on the Kaga, and then we kind of turn back, and well, you're going to see what happens and just how much damage a Massachusetts can do. There we go. We're down. But guys, like I said, I've really, really enjoyed this ship. I've been having fun with it, but I also don't think it's a fantastic ship. It's a great ship. It's going to win you games. But I think if you like playing a certain way, it'll be a ship that you enjoy. Anyways, guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.